everyone. Welcome back. Please comment, subscribe, folks. Comment, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen, folks, there's a link tree down below. Has the links to all of my social media platforms. Please go down there. Follow me across my social media platforms and talk to me because I talk back. Also down there as well is the links to my YouTube pages. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages, and turn on your notifications so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. So with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about Joe Douglas's press conference with the media, his recent one, and also, the idea that he's looking to trade up in the first round if the board plays out correctly, depending on who's there. That was the direct quote there. So a lot of people are starting to kick this idea around, and it's really starting to ramp up as far as fans wanting, to see the Jets make a move and get up a little bit higher to grab some more talent. So I look at this situation. I had people, coming at me immediately right after this press conference saying, "Hey, Joe, what are your thoughts about this situation? What are your takes? How do you feel about the possibility of the New York Jets trading up and grabbing talent?" Especially again with the question that was asked to Joe Douglas, and he says it would depend on who's there. He also discussed a lot of other things as well as far as their draft processes and the meetings that they've been having recently about, just making sure they're buttoning up everything that they need to on their future plans and a lot of things that they have, that could be coming. So when I look at this situation, I say to myself, the Jets have 10 picks in this draft. And I know, particularly as well, me and other fans have definitely kind of been a little bit opposed to the idea of trading up in the first round because we have so many holes and there are so many needs on this football team, and allocating even more capital to move up had a lot of people, including myself, kind of like, I don't know, right? But then I looked at the situation this way. I said to myself, hey, if there's a guy that's sliding down this board that has great talent and for whatever reason he's moving down, wouldn't you want to grab him, especially if he's a guy that's going to help benefit a young quarterback? Because that's another thing that Joe Douglas talked about as well with the media is that he wants to build the best team that he can to support a young quarterback. Again, we all know we're taking somebody at number 2, whether it be Fields or Wilson. So you look at this situation and you say, okay, well, say it's a lineman, Vera Tucker, who all of a sudden has become like, for a lot of other people, of course, I'm an SC guy, so, but for a lot of other people, all of a sudden, Vera Tucker has really become a big name. But, if you talked about a couple months ago, he was a guy that was going way before 23. There's a lot of talk about Tevin Jenkins probably being somewhere around the 20s at this point for some reason. So let's say you feel like, a team 2 spots or 3 spots ahead of us is going to take one of those guys. I could see Joe Douglas maybe giving some capital to get up and get one of those guys because those guys would immediately help a young quarterback, especially better in the interior of our offensive line. I could see that. So that's something that I think would be there. The options, would be there to grab one of those players. And I know that, especially, looking at the situation, would he necessarily need to use capital from this draft? He could, right? But he could also use capital from future drafts. You look at this situation, especially with the trading of Sam Darnold, that capital could be used to help move up the board as well. 2022, we have 13 picks. We have 10 picks in this upcoming draft, but 2022, we have 13 picks. And those picks include, I think, 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and 2 fourth-rounders. So he could utilize some capital from those drafts to really kick up and move up in the first round of this draft. And the one thing that really has me excited, not only about Joe Douglas, but this upcoming draft as well, is that unlike Mike Maccagnan, I trust that Joe Douglas is not going to get fleeced. Now, Mike Maccagnan, draft day trades, he used to just get abused all the time. Outside of the trade that he made, the 3 second rounders to move up to get Sam Darnold, which at the time we were all excited about, you look at the other draft day trades, he's been completely fleeced. He made a trade with the Patriots one year. Oh my God. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was like in the mid-rounds. It was so bad. We were just like, what the heck is this guy doing? You know what I mean? So I have faith that Joe Douglas is not going to get fleeced if he does move up, and that he's going to give up just enough of amount of capital to get a guy. But I do believe that they're going to target an offensive lineman if they do trade up to really help build the interior of the offensive line because it is horrific. I know a lot of people also just talked about 23 when he talked about trading up and who was on the board. There's other options as well. You can talk about trading up in the mid rounds too. You look at this situation, right? If there's a guy sliding down the board in the first round, we have a second round pick in this draft. You see him sliding down this board, you can go up and grab him. We've seen that in the past as well. You look at the Ravens, perfect example. Lamar Jackson was sliding down that board, baby. I could not believe it because Lamar Jackson was a guy that I loved coming out in that draft. I even kind of talked about us, kicked around the idea of us taking him, early, especially before we traded up, the pick that we were sitting at. I said, hey, Lamar Jackson, I love this kid. He's unbelievably, athletic. He's got an arm on him, So Lamar is sliding down this board in the draft. And the Ravens are just kind of kicking back, seeing what's going on, and then they trade up late into the first round and are able to grab him. That's something that we could do as well. I could see us, maybe picking at 2, getting 23, and then going, let's see what's going on. Okay, what's going on at the bottom, very bottom of this first round? Or there's a guy sliding, or there's another offensive lineman that we feel like the team ahead of us is going to take. Let's hop up late into the first round and get this guy. So then we end up with 3 picks in the first round. Again, there's capital to do that. As long as we don't get abused and fleeced, I think that would benefit us too. So that's an idea that we can have as well. Also in the third round, I've kicked this around too, taking 2 third-rounders, moving back up into the second round, late into the second round. That's something that we could do as well. That's an idea. And again, I think a lot of people are not talking about this. And I've kind of, kicked it around with a lot of different people, but there's a lot of options to be had, particularly in the mid rounds of this draft. And let me tell you why. You look at the situation that we've had again, with the Roro and things like that. The reason why we wear masks, we all know why, right? There's a lot of players that have opted out or, their teams have not had a season. And a lot of people have not properly assessed those players. They haven't. I'm keeping it real. There's a lot of scouts. There's a lot of team scouting personnel as well around this league that have not properly assessed those players and made sure, that they've done their due diligence to see if those guys can actually play football at this level. There's a lot of players out there. When you get into the mid rounds of this draft, it's going to get really murky for a lot of teams. And that's where I believe that the New York Jets can completely take advantage of people. Okay, there's going to be players that I think that should probably be first-round picks that could be in the second round, that could be late in the second round, early in the third round, that if they were assessed properly would probably be first-round picks that Joe Douglas could actually move up and hit on. Not only hit on, there's players that could slide down the board that he could say, hey, I know that nobody knows about this guy. Nobody's going to take him. I'll just wait and take him at the spot that I could get him for the absolute cheapest while I move up and get this other guy that people are targeting because, he played this year and he's the big name. So that's an idea and draft strategy that they could take to that as well. I'm very excited about this draft. I really, really am. And it's not just because, of what we're going to do, it's taking a young quarterback, but it's because Joe Douglas, he's an unbelievable scout. And we've seen it. I'm so excited about him being here and being our general manager because I feel like he's going to do what it takes to turn his football team around. So comment down below and let me know what you folks think. How do you folks feel about this situation? What are your thoughts about the idea of the Jets trading up? What are your thoughts about the Jets, movement in the mid rounds as well? Could you see them trading up there too? So please comment down below. I'm going to go back and forth with you folks. You folks have a good one. Peace.